Hey everybody, and welcome back to the board meeting. Today we're making a video about alpha gaming, and these are going to be 10 tips to help you stop alpha gaming. Now, what is alpha gaming? Alpha gaming, or otherwise known as quarterbacking, is when you're playing a cooperative game with other people and basically one person is taking over that game. Instead of each person individually taking turns, it's like this person tells you, oh, you should do this, you should do that, you should do this, and on my turn, I'll do this. And they basically dictate every possible move that everybody's going to be doing. And I think it's a pretty fine balance between cooperating and being an alpha gamer. And I just feel like here's 10 tips to help you maybe stop going over that line. So, and it hasn't been a huge issue in my life ever, actually. My game group is really good about cooperative games. We've done pretty good. We have excellent communication. I've played with other people, and I've had a couple times where one individual is basically taking over the entire game, and I'm like, well, it is whatever. But yeah, let's just get into the tips for you. And number one, and these aren't going in any particular order. It's just I got 10 different tips. So number one, don't take the game too seriously. It is just a game, and I think a lot of people, will try to take the game too seriously because they want to win so bad. You have to be okay with losing, especially in cooperative games. If someone, does something, that you don't want them to do because you think you're going to lose from it, you just have to be okay with that in cooperative games. You just can't take the game too seriously. So yeah, number one, don't take the game too seriously. Number two, play the game at your game group's appropriate difficulty level. So if none of you have played the game except for like one person, don't play it on legendary mode. Play it on easy mode or something like that to ease into the game. And then that will help sort of the alpha gamer as well, because you don't have to be so efficient if you're not playing above the level that you're supposed to be playing at. If you're new to the game, go easy on that one, and it won't put so much pressure on everybody being super efficient. Instead, everybody will take their turn, and you win, you lose, whatever. So yeah, play the game at the appropriate difficulty level for that particular group. Number three, if it can be helped though, play the game with similarly experienced players. Meaning, if you've played Pandemic 100 times and nobody else has played Pandemic any times, and you bring that game, you're going to have a tendency maybe to overstep and tell everybody what they're doing. When someone takes a turn, you're like, no, you shouldn't do that. You should do this instead. If you are playing with a game with people who've played the game a similar amount of time, and you all have like similar experience and skill set for that particular game, you can have more open communication about what people should be doing because everybody's on sort of the same link of what you should be doing in the game. So if it can be helped, play that game with similarly experienced players. Number four, ask questions. Ask questions when it's your turn. Ask questions. Does anyone want me to go do anything? Does anyone need me? What do you guys think I should be doing? Open the communications to other people. Involve other people. Have it a cooperative game. Have it a cooperative experience with others. Ask questions maybe on other people's turns too, just general questions. And that leads me into number five. Answer just in generals, not specifics. If someone asks for your help or anything, like, what do you guys think I should do? Ask or answer sort of in a general sense of things. Like if you're playing Pandemic, like maybe you should go treat some diseases in some troubled areas or something. Don't get into really specifics. You need to go do this, then this, then this, and then this. And then it'll be his turn and you'll do this, this, and this, and this. Sort of answer in general. Unless they ask, go into more detail. They want you to tell them, and that's where that fine line comes into, how far should you go into describing what you think you should do. I would say, don't say anything unless they ask, and then just answer in generals. And then if they continue to prod, maybe then go into specifics of what you should do. So yeah, it's kind of like that fine line. So yeah, number five, answer in generals. Number six is find cooperatives cooperative games that have imperfect knowledge, meaning that not every single player has perfect knowledge about everything that's happening. Maybe there is limited communication. Maybe you can't see what the cards that the other people have. One player doesn't know everything about the board, and that's going to stop alpha gamers from alpha gaming because they can't. They don't know all of the information out there. They can't figure out the best efficiency for the game because they don't know what the other people's situation currently is. And games have done a really good job about that in recent history of kind of solving the alpha gamer issue. I don't think it's their problem. I don't think it's a game problem. I think it's a person problem, alpha gaming. But it's if you have a game that has imperfect knowledge, that's great. Games like The Crew, where you can't talk about your specific cards that you have, so people can't figure it out. Recent game Sky Team, where you can't talk with your co-pilot during the flight process area. Also, if you play more complex cooperative games, it's harder to alpha game with, more complex games like Spirit Island or Gloomhaven. In Spirit Island, you've got your own cards that have special things that are going on, plus you have your own character that's got special things that they can do. Unless a person has played a game, 1,000 times, it's going to be really hard to alpha game bigger, more complex games. What I like about in Spirit Island is like people will be like, oh, I'm kind of having trouble over here. Is there anyone that can help me during this phase with this part? I've got a little bit too much blight going on over here, or there's too many settlers over here and stuff like that. So people can kind of go help them, but you don't really know what people can do because you don't really know their cards. I'm not paying attention. I don't know Spirit Island good enough. So the more complex a game is, the harder it is for someone to take over a particular game. Going to number 7, pay attention to how much you're talking compared to other people. I'm only talking about game-wise. People can be yappers, and not talk about the game. But if you are the person who's talking about the game and the strategy 80 to 90% of the conversation, you're definitely taking over that game. So when you find yourself that you're the person that's talking most of the time, maybe pull back a little bit. Open up the communication to other people. You want it to be an even back and forth with cooperative games. You don't want to be the person that's talking 80% of the time. You want, if you're playing, a 4-player game, you want it to be 25% all around. If it's a perfect world, if it's a perfect game, that would be great. So if you just find yourself, talking way more than other people, just pull it back just a little bit, and go from there. Going to number 8. Number 8 is don't be rude or pushy when it comes to other people's moves. If they do a move that you think is inefficient and was bad, it was stupid, don't be rude about it. Do not bring it up like, okay, well, you just move on from it. Just don't be a bad person is basically what this one is. Just don't be pushy or rude about things, what the moves that they're doing. And if they're not going to follow maybe your suggestions, don't like harp on it, So yeah, that's number 8. Going to number 9. This is kind of reminiscent of play with, similarly experienced people, but this is find the right group for you and find the play style that you enjoy. And I've played with game groups. My particular game group in Beulah here, when we're playing cooperative game, it's really open to discussion. We're going back and forth and discussing, and it's pretty evenly dispersed. Like, oh, we should do this and this and this and this, and we're all talking. We're all talking pretty evenly with each other of the things that we should do. But I've played with other game groups quite a bit too, where you're not supposed to have that as much open communication of what other people should be doing. So know the group that you're playing with for that. If I've played with groups before that said there's no suggesting what another player can do in a cooperative game unless that particular person asks for it, that's a nice rule. I like that. So they've kind of I've played both kind of groups where it's really open to communication and kind of just you do your thing unless you ask for help. And I enjoy both ways, absolutely. Both ways work really good, but just know your group that you're in and know what you want in your group. If they play a certain way that you don't really like, maybe try to find another group that will play more towards your style that you want to do. So yes, 9 is find your right group. Number 10, if all else fails, don't play cooperative games with other people. If I love cooperative games, but if you're a person who just can't, not alpha game, just don't play cooperative games with others. What you can do, and something I really suggest, is play cooperative games solo. I love a lot of cooperative games that are really good solo games. You just play it 2 or 3 handed. Of course, you can't play those games that, have that imperfect communication or imperfect knowledge where people aren't supposed to know what other people are doing. Unless you've got a variant for that, you can't play a cooperative game solo for those types. But cooperative games are great solo games, I've found. Some of my favorite all-time games are cooperative games that most of the time I actually solo. So yeah, number 10 is just don't play them, but try them out solo. And those are the 10 tips to help you stop alpha gaming. Make sure to comment down below. Have you had much issue with alpha gamers in the past, or is it really kind of a non-issue for you? And it's kind of been a non-issue for me, except for a couple instances, but it's not really prevalent for me much. But either way, if you did enjoy this video, make sure to like and subscribe to see more weekly content from me, Shane, at the board meeting in the future. Hope you all have an amazing day. Take care.